Hello, my name is Sture and I would like to show you how I did my drum cover of Toto's Carmen. It's from the Isolation album, which I think came out in late 1984. The first thing I do when I get an idea for doing a drum cover, I have to get an MP3 of the song. I use the moises.ai service for track separation. This means that I can choose which instruments I would like to separate. So here you have the vocals, you have the drums, you have the bass guitar. Other is the keyboard and guitar. And then it generates an AI lick track or metronome. First you have the track here. So here you can hear just the drums, or just the bass, vocals, and click track. So this is how I do that to get a track minus the drums. For this one, it generates a click track, which is very helpful, but sometimes it works great, sometimes not so great. In this section you can hear that it doesn't quite work. Then it's back again. So this is an area I have to fix if I should play with the track with just a click and minus the drums. So now we're in Logic, which is the DAW I use. Here is the moises.ai tracks I imported into my session. Here the bass, drums, and the click, the music, that was the other, and the vocals. Here I just copied the click from another place to get a count in. So it's a 2-bar count in, and in the middle here you had a section that didn't work so well. So I just copied and fixed that there, and also I found something at the end there. I guess it got confused with all the triplets. Yeah, so I fixed that there. So when I have that in place with a click and it all plays fine and in time, then I can start doing takes. And what I like to do, I like to start recording immediately, because usually when I do a drum cover, it is actually a song I normally haven't played before. So I use this process to learn the song. Here are my drum tracks. I have kick in, kick sub, which is a kick out, which is an Yamaha NS10 speaker in reverse, snare top, snare bottom, overhead, hi-hat mic, and the 5 toms plus the Gong Drum, and 2 room mics, which are a Cascade Fatheads ribbon mic in bloom line configuration. Then I group the drums. Here are my group settings. Just for editing, input and record, so I can record all the tracks at once when I press the R button. Let me see the takes I did. I did quite a few here. Let's see. Yeah, so I started with the first take and I ended up with take 10. There was a one fix from another take because I forgot a section, a triplet section. So I forgot that dun 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 dun. So I had to fix that. Hard to remember everything all the time. But other than that, no fixes at all. The thing is, I did play this track quite a few times to get to know it, and then I finally realized there was one bass drum pattern that bugged me. So I had to kind of start over First I can show you what I did that didn't work. Yeah, that double kick pattern, do-do-ga. Now do-do-ga. That do-do-ga. And here, yeah, same there. But here there I changed it. So I did one take with the change and another one. And ended up with that. Take 9 was the first, and then I did a second take with a new bass drum pattern. And I did another one as well, but I felt the second one with a new pattern worked best. Except for the mistake there, so left it like that. It's time to start mixing the drums with a track. And I like to start with a top-down mixing approach, which means that I tend to start with some light processing on my drum bus, which is the drum's sum here. When I do that, I have to do a lot less on all the other tracks, on the individual drum tracks. Let me see here. So this is how my raw drum tracks sound as I recorded them, completely flat. I don't use any processing when I record. So here are the original raw drum tracks. Yeah, my room is quite decent size, but the ceiling is not too high. Probably one of my main go-to starter plugins on my drum bus is this SSL channel, the SSL 4000E. Love this plugin. The thing I do, I like to do some EQ here, and I boost like some air around 10 or 12k. Boost there, a little bit high mid, reduce a little bit of the low mid, and a bit boost in the very lows, around 90. Let me hear what that sounds. Bypassed. On. And another trick I learned from someone is these compressors on the SSL is quite nice. So I boost the threshold to the max, and I slowly dial in the ratio to I get mainly 1 or 2 here. I can show you what I mean. So if I engage that, if I push it, it goes way too much. At around 2. Around 2-to-1 ratio. So before, after, before, after. And I don't have a set thing I do on my drum bus. I tend to change it up a bit, try different things. So this is just the way I did for this one. And here's a free plugin called Saturation Knob. I kind of like to use, not always on drum bus, but for instance on the snare as well. So here's what this sounds like. So not too much, but just a little bit. And then we have the SSL bus compressor. This one I like to use quite a bit, actually. I love this plugin. Works great on drums. So here I think I used just this drum adhesive preset, actually. And I dialed it around 50%. Let's hear what that does. Just a little bit, and then I have this master desk plugin by Plugin Alliance, which is a master bus plugin, but I like to use it on drums sometimes. It can be a bit much, but kind of cool nonetheless. So let's see that one. Off, on. And then lastly, and here I've used a or easy drum bus, not all the way. Let's hear that. Off, on. So if I start with the drum bus how it originally sounded, let's see. Quite a difference. And here I haven't used anything on the other, just working on my drum bus, which is a sum of all my separate tracks. So I like to use this kind of top-down approach. Then I just start playing with the track, actually. Let us hear with the track. So I have much more gain with all my added stuff on my drum, my sub buses here. So the volume will change. So if I... So not too bad actually for just a drum bus with the track. After that I start to get a nice balance with the most important stuff, which is a kick, snare and overheads. That's the bread and butter, the most important thing. So let's see here. You can hear what the kick sounds like, completely dry. That my kick in a Shure Beta 52 mic just inside, and some light EQ here. And also this Neve style EQ, which is more in the punchy model. And then we have the kick sub. Quite ugly sounding, but I had it around 14 here, I think. Somewhere there. Yeah, there. And some compressor. And also some transient designer, so I can reduce the sustain a bit. So I like to use that instead of a gate or something. And what I like to do, I like to bus group. And I like to use most of the processing on, this is kind of also like a top-down. Start with a drum bus. I like to work with my drum sub group. So here I just another preset actually, bass drum boom, quite drastic I think. Yeah, a lot more low end here. So without. And just a little bit of more high mid there. The SSL bus compressor again. A kick punchy preset. So you hear quite a lot of snare, but I tend to just leave it there, not worry too much about gating it. So then we have the snare. That's a dry signal. This is the Tama Imperial Star steel snare from the 80s. Brighten this up a bit. And sometimes I use a bottom mic on my snare. Sometimes I don't, but this is the dry signal. So I would think I would use a much more high pass on my snare bottom, like, you know, doing this, but this is what I used here, so yeah. And once again, I group this to another snare sub bus. So let's see here, the Focusrite plugin again, snare aggressive rock. That's quite drastic. And this bottom makes also a bit of change. Here, the THD is quite nice for a more grittier sound. And what else? Yeah, Transient Designer again. Reduce the stain, increase the attack. So by reducing stain, I reduce a bit of the ring and eliminate the process of using a gate or something, but you still can hear the ghost notes. And this baby again. Snare body preset here. Up, on. And then we have the overheads. That I didn't use anything here, but we can hear. So let me see here. A little bit of high pass. Sometimes I like to use quite a bit more of the high pass. We added in the high mids and Focusrite again. This with the drums overhead preset. Quite drastic change. Transient Designer again. Reduce the sustain a bit. And another bus compressor. The overhead leveler, helps to bring down the attack on the snare. So working quite hard. Here are my drum room, which are the Cascade Fatheads ribbon mics. Quite cheap ribbon mics, but sound great, I think. And I group them. Let's see. Normally a ribbon pair is quite dark, so they usually need to be brightened up a bit. And a room sustain. This is quite cool. And the Devil Luck, you have to be really careful because it's can easily go pretty crazy here. So I have it on 2 here. almost a bit too much already. A transient designer, a bit longer sustain, less attack. So the toms. So here are the toms. Perhaps here is better. Here the ring quite a bit. I don't dampen my toms when usually when recording. I like to use this knee for the toms quite a bit. To add quite a bit of low end around 100 hertz. Reduce some of 400. Boost a bit. Quite a difference. Engage those again. Yeah, the Gong Drum. I also did something. The toms were completely flat here, so just this, once again, the top-down approach, just using my tom subgroup for processing. But the gong, I like to have a little bit more bottom usually. You hear how much it sings for ages. I think that's kind of cool. Let's see the hi-hat. Yeah, always some quite a bit beat from the snare. Sometimes I use a bit more high pass, but didn't do that here. Yeah, I can also mention I usually like to pan my overheads far right and left. For this one, I like to have them. I thought it was a bit better to have them not too wide. Also, the hi-hat, I don't like to have it completely wide. I like to have it just around 2, 3 o'clock. But one crucial thing is, I think, is the drum room. How much that helps with the overall vibe of the drum kit. I can show you that. So here are, I haven't used any reverb yet. So here are my drums without the room. Without, with. And I have other reverb here, and I send usually a little bit of everything, but not always. But usually some snare and toms. But sometimes I like the kick as well. We can hear, just hear the reverb here. Big fan of the Valhalla Vintage Verb. Here I actually use the concert hall settings. So here I use a little bit on the kick, snare, dry with the reverb. and also a bit on the overhead actually. And if you have the toms here again, I can hear what that sounds like. Dry. And from there, okay, even though the track I'm playing to, the Toto track here, Carmen, it's of course mixed, mastered, and processed, and sounds great just as it is. I like to use a bit of processing on my master stereo out. And the reason is I think it gels a bit better when I have the same stuff, my drums and the music. It gels better, and I can show you. You take some music. I use this master plugin again. I always change a bit, but here I use this. Mute a click perhaps. So it gels quite a bit better. And the SSL bus compressor as well. This preset is quite cool. I always change it up a bit, but I like this one. And as the preset said, classic punch, yeah, you can hear it. It's more punchy. And I like to have a limiter also as my last plugin, just to control it, and I get the volume up a bit, just a tiny bit of gain here, 1 dB. So you heard it gels a bit better there as well. The chorus, let's hear. So there you have it. You have try to use the top-down approach. Start with my drum bus, get that fairly decent sounding, and then route my individual tracks to these drum subgroups. One thing I can show you is I also like to do a bit of automation. I haven't actually used that here. Perhaps I was lazy, but one issue is when you have so many toms as I do. I have 5 toms and a gong drum, and it rings like crazy since they're wide open. I use a black dot heads, and they're single ply with the dot on, so they sing quite a bit. So quite a bit of resonance along when I play just a regular groove. And I can show you. So if you hear here how when I engage the toms, how much they rumble along, pretty easy as I mute the reverb. So, oof. So that much more cleaner. But what I like to do in this, if I should do it now, just to here, I can go in here and for instance use the I can go in here and reduce the volume to around -20 or something. and now I write it manually, but you can use the latch or the touch here just to show you. And when doing this, you can easily control how much of the tom fill you like to be present, or a bit less. So I find this much easier than to, going on every channel and doing stuff. So if I really take my time, I like to do this, so I get more cleaner sound. And the reason is because when I add more reverb, or if I compress my toms, sometimes I like to do that, it just adds much more rumble when I play a regular groove. So it depends on the song, what works and what doesn't. But this is a cool trick to do, and you can do this. I sometimes use this on the overheads as well. If I go to a section that there are too much cymbals or ride stuff, I like to go in and automate that, so I have more control and can reduce the volume in sections that are overbearing. And also in the room mics, but usually on the toms like this, and sometimes on the overheads to control it a bit better. And so this is my basic approach to mixing the drums for these drum covers I like to do. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and if there's some other stuff you'd like me to show, please write that in the comments and I'll do my best. Thanks. Peace out. Yeah.